Anfield was ready for another famous night under the lights, and from the moment the teams walked out onto the pitch, the tension was thick in the air. Liverpool versus Manchester City has become one of the defining rivalries of the Premier League era, a fixture that rarely disappoints and often reshapes the title race. This time, it delivered drama of the highest order, as Manchester City produced a stunning late turnaround to beat Liverpool 2-1 on their own turf, silencing the Kop and sending shockwaves across the league. Liverpool began the match with intensity, feeding off the energy of the home crowd. Their pressing was aggressive, coordinated, and relentless, forcing Manchester City into uncharacteristic early mistakes. Every touch from a City defender was met with a roar, every interception celebrated like a goal. The message was clear: Anfield would not be a comfortable place to play tonight. The opening exchanges belonged to Liverpool. They moved the ball quickly, stretching City's defensive shape and targeting the wide areas with purpose. The midfield battle was ferocious, with challenges flying in and neither side willing to give an inch. Manchester City, known for their control and composure, looked unsettled, struggling to establish their usual rhythm. It was no surprise when Liverpool struck first. The goal came from a move that perfectly captured their approach: high tempo, sharp passing, and ruthless intent. As the ball found the back of the net, Anfield erupted. Red scarves waved, fists punched the air, and for a moment, it felt like one of those nights where Liverpool simply overwhelmed their biggest rivals. Manchester City, however, are not a team that panics. Even after conceding, they remained patient, absorbing pressure and slowly recalibrating their approach. The game began to shift subtly. City started keeping the ball for longer spells, drawing Liverpool out of position and creating pockets of space between the lines. As the first half progressed, the match evolved into a tactical chess battle. Liverpool continued to press, but the initial ferocity began to wane. City's midfielders found their passing lanes more consistently, and their fullbacks pushed higher, pinning Liverpool deeper than before. The crowd sensed the momentum changing, the noise turning from confident chants to nervous encouragement. Despite City's growing influence, Liverpool remained dangerous on the counter. Every turnover felt like a potential goal, and City's defense had to be alert at all times. The half ended with Liverpool still in front, but the warning signs were unmistakable. Manchester City were settling, and the storm was coming. The second half told a different story. Manchester City emerged with renewed purpose, their passing sharper, their movement more decisive. Liverpool, by contrast, began to show signs of fatigue. The high-energy pressing that had defined their first-half performance was harder to sustain, and the spaces between their defensive lines grew wider. City's equalizer arrived at a crucial moment. It stemmed from sustained pressure, a sequence of passes that dragged Liverpool's defense out of shape. One lapse, one moment of hesitation, and City pounced. The finish was clinical, the kind that champions produce when given the slightest opportunity. Anfield fell silent, the sudden shift in momentum impossible to ignore. With the scores level, the match opened up dramatically. Liverpool tried to respond immediately, pushing bodies forward and increasing the tempo. The game became end-to-end, thrilling and chaotic, with both sides sensing that a single moment could decide everything. Manchester City grew in confidence with every passing minute. Their players looked calmer, more assured, while Liverpool began to play with a hint of desperation. Passes that had been crisp earlier now went astray. Decision-making became rushed. The crowd urged them on, but the composure that had defined their opening spell was slipping away. The decisive moment came late in the game, and it was devastating for the home side. Manchester City launched a swift counterattack, slicing through Liverpool's defensive line with precision. One perfectly weighted pass split the defense, and the finish that followed was ruthless. The ball hit the net, and suddenly, the impossible had happened. City were leading at Anfield. The reaction inside the stadium was immediate and visceral. Disbelief, frustration, and tension filled the air. Liverpool threw everything forward in the remaining minutes, introducing fresh attackers and committing numbers in search of an equalizer. Manchester City, meanwhile, retreated into a disciplined defensive shape, defending with the determination of a team that knows the significance of what is at stake. Every clearance was cheered by the away fans, every blocked shot celebrated like a goal. Liverpool had chances, half-chances, moments where the ball seemed destined to cross the line, but City's defense held firm. The goalkeeper made crucial saves, defenders threw themselves in front of shots, and time seemed to move agonizingly slowly for the home supporters. When the final whistle blew, it confirmed one of the most dramatic results of the Premier League season. Manchester City had come from behind to win 2-1 at Anfield, a result that could have enormous implications for the title race. The City players celebrated with controlled satisfaction, fully aware of the magnitude of their achievement. For Liverpool, it was a bitter pill to swallow. They had dominated large parts of the game, played with intensity and courage, but ultimately paid the price for missed opportunities and momentary lapses in concentration. In matches of this caliber, those margins are decisive. Beyond the immediate result, the impact of this game rippled across the league. Manchester United and Chelsea, both closely monitoring the title race, found renewed hope. Liverpool's defeat reopened the door, tightening the table and injecting fresh drama into an already gripping season. Suddenly, the race looked wide open again. Manchester City's victory was a statement of intent. It showcased their resilience, tactical intelligence, and ability to deliver under pressure. Winning at Anfield is never easy, and doing so after falling behind only reinforced their credentials as champions. This match will be remembered not just for the scoreline, but for the emotional journey it took fans on, from Liverpool's early dominance to City's late, crushing turnaround. It was Premier League football at its finest, intense, unpredictable, and utterly compelling. And as the lights dimmed at Anfield and the echoes of the crowd faded, one thing was certain: this dramatic night would resonate far beyond Merseyside, shaping narratives, fueling debates, and defining the season in the weeks to come.